Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On Point Live, right here from the Manhattan Beach Studios. Hi, I'm Vince Ferragamo, former Los Angeles Rams quarterback, and alongside me is Hall of Famer, 20-year legend, Jackie Slater. And Jackie, this past weekend was so much excitement from collegiate football. Jackie, did you see what's captured the entire sports world? Is University of Colorado with Deion Sanders. Did you watch that Nebraska game?
I couldn't help but to watch it, Vince. I mean, think about this, Vince. Deion Sanders was the head coach previously, prior to this season, at my alma mater.
That's right.
And I know a lot of people back in Mississippi that were very disappointed that he left.
Yeah.
And you know, when you think about the success that he had, Vince, I mean, the guy's got 80. This has never happened before. You bring in almost 80 different guys that weren't even on the team, and then you come out and you play the way he has this team playing. It's a testament to the type of leader that he is. It's a testament to the type of players that he's able to recruit and get. How about Travis? The kid Travis, the wide receiver in the DB, had a pick at an interception. He played 140-some plays on both sides of the ball. So watching what Deion Sanders is doing to me is a lot of fun. And it could change a lot of things about the way we think about pro football, college football. This guy's done a fantastic job. There's no doubt about it.
And Jackie, they really took it to Nebraska 36-14. You know, it started off tight. Matt Rule's been doing a pretty good job.
Pretty good
Nebraska.
job.
I mean, I like their schemes, but, you know, I kind of question some of their play calling at times. They had a lead against Minnesota. They started throwing the football when they had a running quarterback. Get back to Nebraska-style offenses, rush that football, power football. Then they came to Colorado, Jackie. Their defense was playing great, the special teams, and also their defensive backs, probably the best I've seen in a long time, Jackie. But they could not.
That was the best you've seen in a long time. And this guy
defensive backs.
Almost five.
I know, but he threw 500 yards. Well, you know, that's Deion's son, okay?
Shedeur.
Okay. Shedeur Sanders. Jackie, and I have to tell you, as a quarterback, I look at him.
Did you like him?
I love this quarterback. And I tell you what, he doesn't panic. He has very confident. He's a confident young man. He understands the passing game. He can throw all different types of passes. He doesn't get flustered. Okay, Jackie, he understands the game. He's even keel. He knows when to move. But when he moves, his intention is to throw the ball first. Jackie, and I'm telling you what, he's playing with his buddy, longtime friend since they were 5 years old, and it must be really difficult to be able to coach your own son at the collegiate level.
It must be.
But I'm telling you, he's done a remarkable job, Jackie. I'm really impressed with this team. Jackie, first time in, 25 years, it was a sellout crowd in Colorado.
Did you see all those people run out on the field?
They stormed the field.
Stormed an old-fashioned storming.
But Jackie, they did it in grand fashion.
They did. They looked good in every aspect of the game.
I'm an Nebraska alumni, Jackie, and I was starting to get excited. But when I saw those skill position guys and that quarterback take over, you know, nothing bothers him. At first half was tough sledding. Second half it was all Colorado.
Just got better, and better as the game went on.
Watch that kid. How about USC? Played Stanford, Jackie, 56-10. That score was Caleb Williams. These two guys, 1-2, 2-1. They're going to go down the Heisman. One of those guys can win it.
The disappointing conversation for me this past week was a lot of people looked at our Los Angeles Rams and thought that maybe they should tank for Caleb. In other words, don't worry about winning the game, so you had an opportunity to get the first pick in the draft so you can go and get Caleb Williams as your quarterback. I don't think Sean McVay would ever think that way. Mm-hmm. It's not in him. That you can tell by the way he coached today and how his team looked. That just isn't. Caleb Williams is not going to be. If he goes to the Rams, it's going to be a surprise to me.
Well, you're talking about week number 1 in the regular season, Jackie. We just completed most of those games today. And I tell you, the Rams had a great showing in Seattle up there. And, Jackie, they win 30-13. Matt Stafford had great.
Against a veteran team.
Against the team that was supposed to blow out the Rams.
Right.
The Rams hadn't won one game in preseason. It doesn't matter. Matthew Stafford. But the rest of the team, as we talked about, Jackie, had been playing all preseason. They were ready to go. And I was mostly impressed with Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua.
Tutu Atwell had his first 100-yard game
Yes.
of his career today, and it seemed like he was wide open every time he caught the ball.
Unbelievable.
And Nakoa, he became the second, fifth round pick or less to get over 100 yards receiving in his first NFL game. And it was clear to me that he was targeted as a guy, like the Cooper Kupp. He had to have been the guy that ran all of Cooper Kupp's routes. You saw Cooper standing on the sideline talking to him all the time, and it was just impressive watching those two young receivers. And when you pair those young guys who were tutored by a guy like Cooper with a guy like Matthew Stafford, Vince, you can say whatever it is that you want to say, but this guy's a gamer. Yeah. He shows up, and when he's got you give him enough protection, which you got to take your hat off to the offensive line today. That offensive line that they came up with did a good job. They had Jackson on the left guard. They had the rookie of Villa there. They had Coleman at center. And then they took Joe Noteboom and moved him to right guard over there next to Rob Havenstein, and I thought they did a good job all the way around. So if you give Matthew Stafford enough time to throw the ball, not letting him get hit in the lips every time he dropped back, you're going to get the kind of results that the Rams had today.
And they had clever schemes, Jackie, on offense and defense. Credit Raheem Morris, too, on defense, Jackie. They only allowed 180 yards, less than 100 yards passing by Geno Smith. I don't know what happened to Geno Smith. He had 30 touchdowns last year. He threw one pass to Metcalf today, but other than that, he was silent. He was silent. They shut him out the second half. I give a lot of credit to that defense because they schemed up, Jackie. They were supposed to get all run over.
Well, Vince, when we talked about, I don't know if you remember this, but I picked the Rams, I think, to win 10 games.
Well, I picked them to be over 500 as well.
And the reason why I did that is because just like when the Rams began to let go all of their veteran players and hang their hat on all of these young guys that they were drafting who were leaders from where they came, we said that the central piece that had to be put in place first was the hiring of Sean McVay, making sure he did not leave. Yeah. And that took place. And Sean McVay, another thing that happened, and you and I talked about this, was that those young guys, you're not as afraid to play them in the preseason when you're trying to get them some experience, when you're trying to get them better. And that's what happened.
That's your show today.
If you looked at the way they played, you did not come to the conclusion that they were a bunch of inexperienced guys.
No, they were ready. They were flying around. They had 3 full games to work, Jackie, and they got experience. They got a little bit of taste of the NFL, what it's like to be out there, and I think it made a big difference. So we're going to switch over to our other LA team, the one that wasn't so bright today for us, but it was a great game. It was an entertaining game, 36-34, Jack. They lose to the Miami Dolphins, but I look at this team and I go, my goodness, they're right there. Why at the end of the first half did the Chargers on defense try to create a pass interference call when it gave the Miami Dolphins time with 9 seconds to go in the game? They kicked the field goal to go ahead at halftime. Yeah, it was just one of those games.
It was one of those games, and the guy who did that, he had an interception and brought it out of the end zone when he probably should have stayed in there. And
Jackson,
gotten the ball out to the 25. But when I looked at the Chargers, the things that I saw that gave them, by the way, Vince, it's a shame that 10 weeks from now, we're not going to remember how well played that game was on both sides. When I looked at the Dolphins, what I saw with their quarterback was consistency. He threw for almost 500 yards.
Yeah.
And Vince, I never saw the thing that I expected to see was Joey Bosa, the other edge guy coming off the corner over there, Khalil Mack, raining down upon him. And as I watched the game, I'm thinking to myself, because I'm having some headaches, I'm thinking to myself, I hope they don't let this guy get his head hit and he have another serious problem. I'm sitting there on pins and needles thinking, I hope he doesn't get a concussion.
Jackie, they didn't touch him the entire game.
Didn't
they
touch
had no sacks at all. Tua was 466 yards total offense. I think he had 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
Jackie. Tyreek Hill had 11 receptions for 215 yards.
Vince, did you
He was running open. I mean, not only did he get open, he was open by 10 yards.
Did you notice that most of the routes that he ran, will run towards the middle of the field after the other guys had kind of cleared the area. Yeah. It was a beautifully designed passing game to get the balls in the hand of a guy who can run with the ball after the catch. Because, Tyree Hill used to be a running back.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So he loves running with the football. Put him in a spot, get the ball in his hands, and there he goes with all of that speed.
Yeah, Jackie, it was a heartbreaking loss for the Chargers. It's a long season. But I like their competitive nature, Jackie. I just hope their defense now will get up to speed. And, you can't give 36 points every week and expect to win a lot of games.
No.
So they can score points, as we know. But let's get their defense going, and I think we'll see the Chargers be the team everyone expects.
Got to start with a little bit more pass rush.
That would help. That would help a lot. Yeah. Well, Jackie, we have a Monday night football game coming up this week, and this is at JetLife Stadium. This is going to be the New York Jets going to play the Buffalo Bills, the reigning AFC East champions, Jackie, and there is a lot of excitement for this game, Jackie. Not only is this is a high expectation game, but this is going to be fun because it hasn't been this much fun for the last 25 years. It goes back to when Bill Parcells was coaching and Vinny Testaverde were one win away from going to the Super Bowl. But what are your thoughts about this matchup, Monday Night Football? It's a great matchup between these two teams. Of course, you have Aaron Rodgers starting with the Jets. Going to try to change that whole thing around.
Going to try to change that whole thing around. It's going to be difficult too, Vince, because Josh Allen now, in my opinion, is going into a year where he knows what it's like to win. They've won the AFC East for 3 consecutive years. They came out here last year, remember, in the opening game and just destroyed the Rams. Yeah. So Josh Allen, you got to figure that this guy's motivated, to take this team to a different level. Running with the football, throwing the football, he does it all very well. The thing that concerns me is that he's got to deal with a 3-time former league MVP and Aaron Rodgers and some receivers that he's familiar with, a really good offensive line, particularly on the left side over there, and a good running game. So this is going to be a matchup that a lot of people are going to look at and say, well, don't know which way it's going to go. A couple of things that in the back of my mind that keep jumping out at me is that Leslie Frazier is no longer there as the defensive coordinator. And Sean McDermott is now going to have to be the defensive coordinator and the head coach. So I wonder how he's going to handle the duties of both those positions, which are very, very strenuous in a game, how he handles that. And then how Josh Allen, you tell me, and I've heard some other people say that if you're a good quarterback and competitive quarterback, you're not intimidated by whoever the other quarterback is. But the credentials that Aaron Rodgers brings to the table seems like they could be intimidating. And so I'm going to be watching Josh Allen. I want to see how he handles playing up to a level that he knows his other quarterback, the opposing quarterback, is going to be playing at.
Right, and I'm actually buying into the hype of the Jets, Jackie, because I think Robert Saleh has done a great job with this defense. I've watched them in preseason, and they get after get after their opponents.
They do.
They can stop the run. They can put heat on the quarterback. It all starts up front, and I think they've really built a solid foundation there. And I think with the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers, that might have been the only player shy of them going into the playoffs last year. So they're going to try to shoot for a turnaround. It'll start Monday night against a really good team in the Jets. Sean McDermott's done a great job there. But do the Bills, Jackie, do they take the next step, or will they falter again this year late in the season?
And that's the big question. That's the big question. How does Josh Allen, as the leader of that team, how does he handle the pressure of knowing that he's got to compete now against a 3-time MVP at quarterback? How does he handle that? It's going to be fun to watch. And as I mentioned, the defensive calls that Aaron Rodgers is going to be presented with, is McDermott going to be savvy enough to put him in some bad spots and make him second guess some of his reads and throws? All of those things I think are going to factor in. But when you look at both these two teams, Vince, to me, I think we're going to have an epic game. It's going to be one for the ages. And even though they're starting and it's early in the year, I think both these teams are going to be primed to give their very best.
Yeah, and I think Josh Allen is a type of quarterback that wants to show everybody, hey, I'm just as good or better than Aaron Rodgers. And so this competitive nature between quarterbacks, they'll face each other twice this year. But it's kind of bragging rights too, Jack.
Right.
You know, yeah, I beat the Jets, I beat Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, that gives you a little bit more motivation and excitement to play the game. And Aaron Rodgers has got something to prove as well.
Absolutely.
He's going to go to this team. He's excited about this new city and about really resurging the Jets back to a great team.
Not to mention the fact that, you know, the previous two quarterbacks in his position won Super Bowls. Matthew Stafford came from Detroit, took the Rams and won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady left the Patriots, went to the Bucs.
Right.
Took him to the Super Bowl and won it. So he's got a little bit of pressure on him to prove that he can play like those great quarterbacks did to win Super Bowls.
Well, we're talking about valuable players, Jackie. That leads us to the next question we gotta explore here. Our predictions for this year's MVP, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. Jackie, what are your picks? Who do you like?
It's kind of tough for me. You know, Patrick Mahomes. When it comes to the league MVP, you don't throw Patrick Mahomes to the side.
No.
They lost the other night, but it wasn't because of Patrick Mahomes. No. He made the plays. I don't know how many drop balls I've never seen.
He's a tremendous athlete, Jackie, and he builds camaraderie. He builds chemistry around all the team, and all the players like playing with him. So it doesn't matter. He's going to go in there and fight.
Right.
And that's what it takes to be a good football player. You got to fight to the finish.
You got to do that. So I look at Patrick Mahomes, and then right behind him, Aaron Rodgers. He knows what it's all about. And then the guy that we were talking about a moment ago, Josh Allen in Buffalo. Yeah. I think a lot of people thought he should have won that award at least a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I think right now he might be thinking, hey, it's my turn. So all three of those guys, in my opinion, are sitting there with the possibility.
Well, Joey Burrow had a bad game today. And I would have put him at near the top.
Were you surprised?
I was very surprised because he didn't play at all in the preseason.
I wasn't surprised.
You weren't surprised because Sandy has a really difficult calf injury that's tough to overcome. But Jackie, I was surprised at how flat they were on offense, and not only Joey but the entire team. It just did seem, but they weren't in sync. Well, and they've had a hard time playing the Cleveland Browns. They've lost 5 times to them in a row in Cleveland. So this is 6 now, and that's just one team.
And who was the quarterback?
Desjuan. I mean, not Desjuan. I'm thinking Desjuan.
Deshaun?
No, Deshaun Watson. I mean, Deshaun Watson, man. And you got Stefanski was drawing up the plays, Jackie. They were nice. I mean, I liked his offense. I've always liked him as a coach.
I know you've said that.
So, I mean, we told you earlier in the season, watch out for the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
I mean, this is going to be a
Chubb. They got
team.
a pretty good running attack. Their offensive line is seasoned.
How about Myles Garrett on defense, Jackie? How many times he got to Joey Burrow?
How about that? And then he got a sack at the end of the game that basically put the game away.
Yeah.
This is what you want to see from guys like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Yeah. You want to see guys finish ball games, and this guy Myles, man, he's doing it at a different level this early in the season.
And Jackie, we always talk about the MVP. It's always usually the quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to probably say, you mentioned Josh Allen. I'm going to have to put Aaron Rodgers in that mix, Joey Burrow, and also Justin Herbert. I mean, these guys can play.
Yeah.
And, this is a 17-game week schedule. It's a long season, Jackie. Right. You can put up a lot of numbers, and you're going to see a lot of fireworks from these quarterbacks.
I think so.
One of those guys is probably. What about your offensive player of the year? Who do you like?
Well, I like Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver up there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins knows how special he is. His catch radius is off the chart. He's motivated. For his size, he's got great quickness, got long arms, can go up and high point the ball, as they say. Right. And so for me, that guy right there is special. And I'm looking forward to watching him play this season.
Quarterback and receiver, Jackie, is a really fine line. It's a great relationship that you build. And I can see that relationship on the sideline. He doesn't get flustered, Justin Jefferson. If he doesn't catch a ball, if they're not throwing his way, he's just so good that the ball is obviously going to be coming to him. He knows he's an integral part of that offense. But the way they interact on the sideline, it's like they're talking, they're like buddies. And, you know, that's so much because I have to have an intuition and I have to have it almost like in the back of my mind where he's going to break. And he knows when he comes out of his break, he knows where the ball is going to be.
Already knows.
It's really a 1-2 combination. And to, you know, not to discount Justin Jefferson, he's going to probably be up close to that voting. But I'm going to have to go with Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, okay. The running back of the 49ers.
But because
he had a good day. He had a good day.
He had a great day to start the season against Pittsburgh, but he can be a great threat out of the backfield, catching balls, Jackie. He's got great feel.
How many rushing yards did he have today?
Oh, Jackie had 150 yards rushing
150 yards rushing.
And Jackie, but he has a feel. He knows when to explode. He knows where to cut, how to use his blocks. And, you know, Kyle Shanahan's got a bunch of different schemes up there for him to run through. And he's got a good offensive line.
You know who he reminds me of? Only the guy plays a different position. He reminds me of Cooper Kupp at a running back position.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp knows what they're doing to him at all times. And it just seems to me that McCaffrey, he understands what people have to be, and he goes where they're not going to be. It's just a real rare gift.
And what's nice, Jackie, he's tough. When he goes into contact, he's tough. And also, if he needs to use his speed to get outside, a lot like Nick Chubb.
Right.
He can do it all, just like Nick Chubb.
He can deliver a blow as well as run away from contact.
And I'm telling you. How about your defensive player of the year?
Defensive player of the year?
Well, I kind of know what you're going to say.
Well, you know, I have a bias because I've seen this young man play all of his career with the team that I played with, and I've never seen anybody block him. Mm-hmm. I mean, Aaron Donald, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best, defensive lineman that I have ever seen. And so I know that the kid over at the Pittsburgh Steelers is back and having
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt is back and having a good season. I think he had a couple of sacks today and all of that after getting his big contract, and that's good for him. But to see if he can maintain the consistency that we've seen from Aaron Donald over the last 6-7 years in a row, that's going to be very hard to be. Even today, when I watched the Ram game, I watched them deliberately set the offensive line up to turn the protection away from to Aaron Donald, and as they turned the protection to Aaron Donald,
they did a stunt.
It was basically a T with Aaron coming around, and that backside defensive tackle penetrated so that guard couldn't come off, the center couldn't turn back, and Aaron Donald with his foot speed just came right around and penetrated and hit the quarterback right in the mouth. So Aaron Donald, to me, I'm never going to give him that vote.
But Jack, you raise a really good point, because not only does a player have to excel and be terrific at what he does, but it also takes coaching and a style and a scheme to say, okay, they're going to turn the protection towards Aaron Donald, so they're going to wall him off. They run a stunt up front where they slant the nose tackle down to interact that play, and then he loops around. So that was schemed by Raheem Morris.
That was schemed. Okay? That was perfectly schemed.
He's scheming because he sees what they're doing. They're reacting. You have to be able to counter.
Right.
It's like you're punching. You're in a fight.
That was a decision made. That was a decision made at the spur of the moment, based on them seeing that protection turn. Right. They probably anticipated it. And as soon as they saw it, everybody did exactly what they were supposed to do. And it's an offensive line beater if you do it the way they did today. It's very difficult to block.
It's hard to discount Aaron Donald, too, from the MVP or from the defensive player. But I'm going to have to go with TJ Watt. And the reason why I say TJ Watt, because I do like Mike Tomlin. I know they'll scheme up things on defense. And he's coming off an injury last year, Jackie. So he was a disappointment in his own mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, so a player like that wants to bounce back like double strong. And so he's got more to prove to me. I think everybody wants to do well. Right. But he's got more motivation in himself this year. And it looks like they have a team around him that's gonna be very competitive this year. So I'm going to say TJ Watt. What about Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
For a rookie.
For a rookie.
For the rookie.
Now, I'm going to have to go with Bijan Robinson down at the Falcons.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm going to go with him is because, Vince, he's 6'1" or something like that, 220. He's as quick as a man that's 20 pounds lighter than him. He's got power. He's got explosiveness. He can catch the ball. He can run with the ball. But more importantly, Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons have invested in their offensive line. They gave their right guard a $100 million contract, and his strength is both pass blocking and the ability to get movement at the line of scrimmage. So the Atlanta Falcons has shown me that they are going to make a commitment to running the football. And now you've got a guy that can run it like Bijan. This is going to be a special effort by him, and so I look for him to be the offensive rookie of the year.
You know, when I saw him play today, Jackie, I saw him catch a quick screen outside and flanked out as a running back outside, and he took it in for a score. Real quick, fast, very intuitive. He really knows how to make his cuts. I think he's going to be up there in the ballot box. I think he's going to be right at the top. But the other guy I like a lot too is Quentin Johnson with the Chargers, a wide receiver. I know he'll be playing a lot this year. He started off a little slow today.
Yeah, but he's probably going to play more too, Vince, because Mike Williams took a shot to the head today and missed some time. So we have to see how that's going to play.
They will get him involved in the game
definitely,
plan, and right away, and they'll start showing what he can do. And I think he'll be up there as well. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jackie. My guess would be I got to go with the Philadelphia Eagles defensive lineman, Jalen Carter from Georgia. And Jalen, when I hear Fletcher Cox say, "Hey, this guy's special," I mean, I look at this and say, whoa, I mean, this guy can play. Yeah. And I think he's got to take the place of Hargrave, who went to the 49ers. And that 49er defense, by the way, Jackie, is pretty special.
Smothering.
It's not only smothering, they're suffocating.
Yes.
They suffocate you. You can't run the ball. I don't think Pittsburgh's a running football team. They couldn't run the ball at all against the 49ers.
Couldn't get Najee Harris going at all today, and they were all over the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like any one of the skill guys, as you guys refer to yourselves, it wasn't like anybody had any success because that defensive line was very, very prominent in that backfield. Okay,
Jackie, we have to get to another subject. Who's out eliminating the division winners? So who is definitely out of winning their division this year, Jackie?
After one game?
After one game for the whole season. Yeah, we've looked at them in preseason. So after one game today, who doesn't have a chance? If you were to bet your whole mortgage on it, who would not be able to make win their division this year?
Well, the first team that comes to mind is the Cardinals.
Yeah.
With no Kyler Murray.
Okay, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
I'm in agreement.
So no Kyler Murray. I don't even know who that quarterback is, and I can just see them consistently getting thumped over and over and over again.
Right.
The next team for me is the Colts. They've had problems internally all this offseason with their good running back over there. They haven't been able to get that resolved. I think he's going to be out for a month. Did not report or whatever the list is that he's on. So that doesn't create harmony for a football team. So I think that they could be, just as bad, certainly when it comes to moving up in their division. And then perhaps the Texans, even though I like DeMeco Ryans and how he worked that team, played everybody this summer. I like what he did and how he managed them. When I watched the team, I wasn't 100% comfortable with the fact that they're on the rise.
Even though I have to agree with you on all your three selections, and I'm going to have to kind of ditto that because, but I think the Houston Texans, Jackie, C.J. Stroud, I thought was playing really well. He's really refined his skill as quarterback, and I think he's going to not only just get better and better and better every week. So I think he's really something special. But they're just too young, and they're not ready to make that move yet. And I think it's going to take some time for that team. But they're starting to put the right ingredients together. The Colts, I don't really think they're going to really show a whole heck of a lot this year, even though they have Shane Steichen as a new coach. And the Cardinals, I also have to agree with you. I'm not real big on them. So that does that, Jackie. Now we have to go from worst to first.
From worst
to first. Okay. We have teams. You can go ahead and recite them. Who are the worst teams, and will they win their division this year?
Well, in the NFC West, the worst team were the Cardinals, and they're going to stay where they are.
Okay.
In the NFC South, the Falcons. They have a chance because of Bijan and their ability to run the ball.
Right.
In the NFC East, the Commanders, I don't see them going from worst to first. The Bears, the Broncos, the Texans, the team that has the best chance to go from worst to first, in my opinion, Number 1 is the Jets, and then number 2 are the Browns.
We're in agreement again, Jackie.
All right. Okay. All right.
Jets and Browns. Okay, we got to have a bet, though. Okay. We got to have a bet.
All right.
Of the worst teams last year, there was 4 teams. 2 teams only won 3 games. 2 teams won 4 games.
Okay.
Okay. The Colts and the Cardinals each won 4 games last year. The Texans won 3 and the Bears won 3. Of those 4 teams, we're going to have a bet. The loser has to pay for dinner.
Okay.
So I'm getting ready to go to Morton's Steakhouse. I'm going to go.
Wait a minute. I'll take you
Fleming's.
to McDonald's.
I'm going to go. No, man.
McDonald's,
we get to choose where we're going to go. Okay, who's going to have the best record of those 4 worst teams last year? Who do you think?
Vince, that's a tough question.
So we'll have to follow this all year long.
We'll have to follow this all along, and that's a tough. That's a tough question for me. But I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with the Texans.
The Texans, okay, because DeMeco Ryan's defensive guy, and you got C.J. Stroud. Okay, well, the other team you liked too preseason somewhat was the Bears, and I'm gonna say the Bears because I like Justin Fields.
Okay.
I like Justin Fields. I think.
Did they play today?
They did. They played the Packers.
And did they win?
They came on the losing end. But hey, it's okay.
How bad was
one
it?
game.
How bad did they lose?
One game. Well, they lost by a couple scores.
Okay.
All right. But I think they'll have I think they'll be better than the Texans with the record.
Okay. That's
so,
that's the bet.
Right. That's the bet.
Okay.
So now we're going to explore this new idea about retired jersey numbers. Jackie. Okay, retired numbers. The Chargers are retiring 2 Hall of Famers. Okay. They're retiring the jersey number of Charlie Joyner, number 18, Jackie. He played 18 seasons. Maybe the 18 and 18, they're jiving. Jackie, he had 750 catches, over 12,000 yards, Jackie, and 65 touchdowns. This guy was remarkable. And the other player that was remarkable for Dan Fouts was Kellen Winslow, number 80. They're retiring his jersey, Jackie.
Right.
So what are some of your memories from these 2 guys, Jackie?
Right. Well, I remember coming in 76, and I remember Charlie Joyner.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, this guy's not that big. He's not that fast, and it doesn't seem to be that quick. Yeah. But like Cooper Kupp of the Rams, every time they throw in the ball, he's wide open. And I just started noticing that over and over and over again. I'm thinking this guy is some sort of a mental genius when it comes to reading coverages, understanding how to beat guys that's playing him with certain leverages. And so I just marveled at what he was able to do. Right. And when it comes to Kellen Winslow, the thing that, a lot of people think about Kellen Winslow as a good pass catcher because he had great hands. I saw him make some beautiful one-hand catches and everything. And some of those catches were, 15, 20 yards down the field. So he could cover ground. But the thing that I always appreciated about him was that he could be thick at the line of scrimmage. He could take a defensive end and hook him and get the ball outside. He could take a defensive end and puncture him and knock him off the ball when they wanted to insert the ball in there behind him. And I was thinking, this is a tight end blocking like this. And I would say to myself, well, I guess when he stopped playing tight end, he'll gain another 20 pounds and go to the offensive tackle position. He was just that good. So I have so much respect for both these guys and well-deserved them getting their numbers retired.
Jackie, I remember as a young kid growing up, I saw him play a lot. And the Don Coryell offense was exciting to watch. Back in those days, they didn't have the rules they have today. Otherwise, they might throw for 700-800 yards a game. But I remember the Charger-Miami game in 1982 that was threatening to go into the playoffs. And that was such a great, entertaining game, probably one of the games of all time.
Is that the game when Winslow came out the field with the towel over his head?
Jackie, it was 41-38. The Chargers win it in overtime.
He was exhausted after that.
Jack, he was cramped up. He had a pinched nerve. He had an injured shoulder. He had a swollen eye. He had a split lip. He was dehydrated coming off the field. They had to carry him off the field.
To carry him off.
Jackie, and all I can remember is score after score, and they just kept coming back. Miami would go ahead, they'd come back and score another touchdown. I also remember Charlie Joyner being the safety valve for Dan Fouts. In those days, Jackie, you didn't have the back out of the backfield. They used to run 2 backs. They used to run wide open offense. And he would cross the middle. Usually it would be a tight end. It was Charlie Joyner. He'd get open, like you said, all the time. And not only when he got in a difficult situation, guess who he was throwing the ball to? Charlie would always get open, crossing routes, out routes, post routes, hook routes, everything.
Everything.
He was always open. And I just marvel at the guy. I always try to reflect, even if I'm teaching football today, I try to think of Charlie Joyner, the way he would run routes.
Another thing too, Vince, the fans today, they can sit and listen to you and I talk about this guy. But I think the fans today, of today's football, if they had these fans that had watched this guy operate, they would have been just as in awe of him as we are.
Yeah.
He was really, really special, Charlie.
Yeah, he was awesome. But the Rams, on the other side, the Rams have 8 jerseys they've retired, Jackie. I can remember some of them. Eric Dickerson, number 29. Bob Waterfield, number 7. Okay. Marshall Falk, number 28.
Eric Dickerson.
Merlin Olsen, number 74.
Don't forget Merlin.
Okay. Some schmuck, number 78. I don't know. He played from Jackson State. That's you. Isaac Bruce, number 80.
Yeah.
Jackie. And Jack Youngblood. You know, John Wayne, they call him, but he was number 85.
Yeah.
Do you see any former player or present day player now are they going to retire any other jerseys?
That's another great question for me in particular, because they estimated that over the time that I played with the Rams, I played with over 2,000 different guys, 2,000 different teammates that I had. Right. And I played with some really, really special guys, and they weren't all first-round picks. They went from the low rounds to the high rounds. But when I think about retiring a jersey, the number that just flashes in my face right now, that when you think about the next jersey that needs to be retired, this guy might be playing football here for another 4 or 5 years, and that's Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
I have never seen in all of my association with this game a defensive lineman do the things that Aaron Donald consistently does, that he's done his entire career. So if anybody's number get retired before his, from this point on, we got a problem.
Yeah, we got a problem.
We got a problem.
Yeah, number 99 is they'll probably be hanging in the rafters, just like your number, Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true for that. Well, speaking of the Rams and in SoFi Stadium, next week we hope to be at SoFi Stadium to bring you the Rams 49er matchup, and that should be a great game matchup. Both teams are 1-0, and both teams are don't like each other. These are both of them are rivals of one another. We got Northern and Southern California, so this is going to be a lot of fun. So you'll have to stay tuned next week's show right here on Point Live. So until then, we're going to tell them, stay on point.